But let's talk about the Jane Merrick story.
But can we first of all make this absolutely clear? What we're having in relation to Damien, who I said should have been suspended so there was a proper inquiry, this would have formed part of that inquiry, and instead we are pretty much having trial by the newspapers, and this is not acceptable. These are very serious allegations in relation to other people, and it is all being blurred and conflated, and this is a disgraceful way for us to conduct our politics and very serious allegations. And further evidence of that is the way that Jane Merrick, who has been outstandingly brave, found herself in a position whereby something had happened to her some time ago. Where did she go in order to make her complaint? As we now know, she went to Harriet Harman and then to me, and then we both absolutely promised to keep her identity confidential, and we stuck to that. And then I contacted number 10, and as a result of that, Jane contacted number 10. I know the courage this woman has had. This is outrageous.
Mr. Fallon resigned?
Yes.
Yeah.
And to be very clear about this, we cannot have today this going on any longer. People must have today a system where they don't have to go to the press in order to make their complaint, or happen to find some MP's telephone number that they know will take these matters seriously. This is all about protecting other men and notably women, and there is nothing at the moment. I think our Prime Minister must lead on this, and she must give an assurance that, you know, people must be able now to make their complaints so that we stop the sort of behaviour that Jane and others have had to endure for years.
OK, now, to be absolutely fair to everybody, I should say that Sir Michael Fallon denies a lot of this.
He doesn't deny what he did to Jane.
Let me turn. You also said trial by newspaper, which is a very interesting phrase, because you're also quoted very vociferously on the front page of the Sunday Telegraph. And you're talking about the Whip's office, and you say it's difficult to believe that the Whip's office didn't know much of the detail about these various allegations, and they probably know more. I was astonished that Gavin Williamson was appointed as Defence Secretary. The Whip's office, we all know, used to be called a black book, and now it's probably a black spreadsheet about the misdemeanours of MPs, basically to use as blackmail so that they can get government through.
Not necessarily true. At the very top of the Whip's office, as much as I know, because I've never been a Whip, and it's in both parties, there will be stuff that is known about people. Somebody might have a drink problem. Somebody might actually assault women. Now, they have that information for a pastoral role when people go and make complaints. And this is the problem that the Whip's office has, because their primary role is to make sure that government or opposition business goes through.
Yeah.
But, of course, they have these other roles, which are incredibly important, which is the welfare of members of Parliament, welfare of our staff. But at the same time, though, they are trying to get government business through. So there's a complete contradiction, and that has got to stop. At the senior level of the Whip's officers, undoubtedly, they have known all manner of allegations. And again, I think the time has now come where we have to just draw a halt to this. All the stuff that they know must be given to the Prime Minister and her aide, one in particular who I completely trust, and we must do things properly and not do this behind the scenes, in some instances covering up, which is totally unacceptable, but also when there are allegations, they go to the police or some other body immediately, so we don't have people's reputations being trashed in the newspapers.
OK, and to be absolutely clear, just before I come to Kate Hoey, tomorrow morning the Prime Minister sits down with all of this stuff in front of her. What should she do? I
think she should do two things. One, she needs to say to the Chief Whip and the Deputy Chief Whip, though Esther won't know much of this because she's only just come in, she needs to say, I need to know everything, and we are now going to handle these things properly. Allegations of a criminal nature must go straight to the police. Other matters must go into some new thing that she needs to create immediately, so that people like Jane don't have to go around in the way that I describe. And that must also happen in Kate's party, because it's just as big a problem in hers.